so we can see what topics 7th and 6th grade like prefer, so we can work on the 2 last weeks of school. We can work on it.
So first we made like a frequency table so we could compare to see which are the most popular topics that students chose. And from there we put it in a bar graph so that you could easily notice that which are the activities that were chosen for the students.
The blue bar graph shows blue represents 6th grade and 9 represents 7th grade. We did it to compare the differences between each grade and which topics they prefer the most. Then we turn the double bar graph into a circle graph to know the percentage each topic got out of the whole 7th grade and 6th grade.
While we were making the bar graph, we noticed that there were a lot of trends. One of the trends that we noticed was that, with the exception of conflict and war, the majority of the activities had more 7th graders voting for it than 6th graders, and we realized that this was because there are a lot more 7th graders in the school than 6th graders. We also noticed that a lot of the activities that were chosen by students were activities that are currently touching on or working on in school, or that the students want to know more about. For example, in the music category, I remember last year in music, we didn't learn that much about music except the notes, so nobody was really interested in it. But this year, we're doing in guitars and recordings and all that stuff, so everybody's interested in music. That's pretty much it.
To make the groups of subjects, to make the groups, we counted the total number of teachers from 6th grade and 7th grade, and there were 15 teachers in total, and then we divided the 15 teachers from the total student from 6th grade and 7th grade, and we came out to 8, so we decided to put 5 groups of 9 and 10 groups of 8. Oh, yeah. I didn't think it would. Then we made a list of the topics that we were going to keep and the topics that we were going to drop. I looked at the frequency table and we looked at the topics that had the most votes and we kept, and the topics that had the least votes we dropped. And as you can see, these are the ones we kept and these are the ones we dropped. To make the groups, since we had the 5 groups of 9 and the 10 groups of 8, we saw that we had too much of, like, for example, sports and fitness. We doubled up into groups, so we had like 2 groups of cooking and culinary arts, 2 groups of music, 2 groups of sports and fitness, so we can split everybody up.
So Janai, how were we able to determine which students were in which groups?
By their first choice on their survey.
Can you explain to the team how we went about making the groups in a little more detail?
We split the groups out in the groups that we had in class, and then we looked at their first choice, and if their first choice, if the smaller groups didn't have enough students in their group, we went to the highest number of topics, and we chose from that group. We put it so we could have enough students in that group.
So with these groups, every student got their first choice.
Most of them. And if they didn't get their first choice, they'd rather get their second choice.
And so, yeah, so the students were able to actually, we don't have a final spreadsheet based on topics because we didn't want to get through, but, so you can see the makeup of the groups, and here are all of the surveys into groups, and everything is good to go, so.
When you made the groups, so for example, like in cooking and culinary arts, did you give consideration to making even amounts of 6th and 7th graders in the groups? Or how did it?
Well, we took the total of students who picked culinary arts, cooking, and then took that total number, and then we split it up. We split more mixed in with 6 and 7.
So you did mix the 6th and 7th, so like that group will be all 7 and all 6.
Another question?
But we didn't, each of the groups, they're not homogeneous, so there's not a 6th grade group and a 7th grade
Yes,
group. They were just,
It was
they were all heterogeneous
Yes.
groups.
I don't know if this is a question for our students or, Mr. Primo. Did you guys talk about how now, which staff members are gonna be with which groups? What is gonna be considered in terms of who should be doing math or who should do animals or world
We
culture?
didn't decide that, we just chose the list, which
Focusing on the kids first.
kids first, so they can get their choices for the subject they want.
Same important part.
Sorry, anyone needs an answer. I'm really curious how you guys work together and how much time this took to do, and if you found, so I guess those are two questions, how you work together, how much time it took, and also if you found that there were different parts where like you were able to be a leader and then maybe step back in other areas.
Well, one of us are not in all the same classes. So like my class, we did our own data, and another class we did our own data.
Yeah, we kind of, even though we all worked in separate classes,
We all mixed it
we
together.
kind of mixed it together. Mr. Primo and Ms. Shields took the best work of each class, distributed it among the next class so that they could build on that.
There were certain areas that were so far like choosing which to make sure that every kid got their first or second choice. We don't want to like be mad because they were the right choice. It was just putting the kids in separate groups.
So you guys did a lot of work about student choice, right? So you were taking all these surveys from all the kids and thinking about their choices and how to organize them and sort them and group them. What did you guys think about this whole process? Like, was there anything that you found really interesting about this or something that sparked your interest?
I kind of thought that this was a sort of new idea thing because a lot of the time, and like especially the last school I was in, and they just picked everything for students, and when students didn't get what they want, it was kind of like, well, we would, but it's already filled out because we picked everything. So, but with this student picking their choice, is now the students have what they like, what they would like to work on, and there's less complaints, there's less going to the students are getting to do their education the way they chose to.
Was there ever anyone, any student during the survey that just was completely unhappy with all of the options, that just didn't want to vote for anything or had a different suggestion that wasn't presented?
There was one of them, like someone said fashion, I saw one of the surveys, but they just chose the closest one that they would second, and like, they just like, it's top it said like, what else would you expect to be on the list or whatever, and then it said fashion, and that's what they were, then they picked something on the list.
Were there any other discrepancies or inconsistencies with the data?
Some kids repeated 1, 2, and 3 or over and over. And some check them besides knowing them, so it's hard to tell which one they choose.
Will the classes be analyzing the graphs and the data that you guys put together, percentage in your bar graphs, the other classes get to look at that and look and maybe see some of the trends that you said you saw, or do something with this data to further.
Actually, Ms. Francis, we were gonna ask if we could use the bulletin board, the old 708 bulletin board, and we were gonna put all of the survey data up on that side, because we already have plans for the other side, so if that's okay with you.
No, well, that would be the, health
Oh, that's speech and
services,
stuff,
yeah.
yeah, so, but I'm sure we'll find room to hang all of this stuff for everybody to just be able to look
I
at.
think that board, that study island board out there,